But welcome to day 4 of the Performance Review Bootcamp Challenge. I'm Maggie Palmer. For those of you who don't know, I'm the founder of PepTalkHer, and I'm really excited to be here today. Hi, Sally. And to be talking about day 4 of the challenge. Let me know in the chat what your biggest takeaway was from today's challenge, right? So today is all about thinking about when you're talking about your successes that you're having in the workplace, how are you actually framing them, right? Like, how are you communicating those messages? So I'm going to just pull up the email. Hopefully you'll have been receiving the emails. If you're not, then let me know. But today is really about channeling your inner narcissist, which for those of you who are not narcissists is very difficult. And that's okay, because there's something that we can learn from our friends, the narcissists. And that is that they're very good at talking about themselves, right? They're really good at talking about their achievements, about talking why they're so good at their job, why they absolutely deserve more money, why they're the best person for the promotion, etc., etc., etc. And so today, I want you to stay authentic and true to yourself. And I also want you to take this opportunity to think about what can you learn from narcissists, right? From narcissists in the workplace, or maybe people you just know in real life as well. And what we can learn from them for the perspective of this challenge is that they have absolutely no shame in putting themselves forward, and they have no problem talking about their successes. And my takeaway for you all today is, if nothing else, if you leave this 5-minute, super quick pep talk with nothing else, I want you to remember that it's absolutely okay for you to talk about your successes at work. Now, those of us who identify as female have potentially been raised and, grew up in a society that didn't tell us it was necessarily okay to own our successes or to quote unquote brag, right, about the success that we've had at work. But the thing is, if you want to progress in your career and if you want to start getting promoted to those more and more senior roles, if you want to start earning serious cash and a lot more than what you're on now, the best way to do that is to put meat on the bone when you're having these conversations about your success. And the way you've got to do that is reflect on what you've done and really think about why you're the only person who could have done it in that way, right? And why you're the person who actually did it in the best way possible. So I want you to think about the FED acronym that you might have seen in the email today, but essentially we're going to talk about facts, emphasizing, and don't. So what not to do. So anytime you're talking about your achievements at work, you want to stick to the facts, right? So that we know, unfortunately, there is this concept called the backlash effect, which impacts women more than men in the workplace, right? And that basically, there's been a heap of research on this that says that women are more likely to be perceived negatively by male and female bosses, by the way, if we ask for something, we're considered aggressive sometimes when we negotiate, if we sort of highlight our success. And sometimes people think, well, she's a bit too big for her boots, isn't she? There can be this kind of perception. And so that sucks, just to call that out. And it's going to take a long time for that to essentially, be removed from the workplace, because we've got generations of people who've grown up thinking something. And so it's going to take a long time for that bias to be removed from the workplace. So in the meantime, what can we do? We can understand that this is something that exists, and then we can work within those constraints, right? So the acronym that I'm going to be talking about today, that sort of facts, emphasizing, and don't, is really going to help you have a framework for how can you communicate your successes in a way that's going to make it very clear the value that you're adding. And hopefully it's not going to have as negative of a consequence in terms of your political power and the perception that we know can happen with professional women in the workplace, right? So what we're going to do is, I want everyone now just to think about what's one win you've had at work this week, right? So for me, I've done a really great business deal with a new really large corporate client. So that's the example that I'm going to use. So we're going to stick to the facts. So the facts, if you're in sales or if you're in partnerships, you might be working with clients too, right? So the facts are the size of the company that you're working with, the size of the deal, for example, the terms of the deal. Maybe if you run events, some of the facts might be the budget that you have for that event, who attended that event, what was the survey afterwards, what was the feedback from the event. If you work in marketing, you can think about, return on ad spend, you can think about website clicks, really doubling down on the facts, right? Getting heavy into the data. That's the first thing that you want to do when we think about that facts component of the FED acronym. Then we want to really emphasize the hard work that you put in to get that done. Because I could say, oh, I signed a new work. I could say to you, yeah, I've had a win this week. I've signed a new client deal. Or I could rephrase that and say, I've had a huge win at work this week. After 12 months of cultivating this client, and after doing one small project, I've now, tripled the size of that engagement with this client, and they're signing a three-year deal with us. So they're both saying the same thing. I got a new client, but the second way of saying it has more facts, sounds more impressive because I've gone into the details, right? I really delved into that. So I want you to delve into those details too, right? And maybe that means I've got the CFO involved, or, I'm working with this impressive person. Whatever those facts and figures are, that's what you're going to think about for that first step. The second step is you're going to really emphasize your individual hard work. Yes, it was a team effort. Yes, other people helped you get there. And for the purpose of you selling yourself to your company and your employer, I want you to really emphasize your individual contribution. So as you know, I went above and beyond. I flew to Canada to close the deal, or, all those extra hours of work have really paid off. And because of that, I was single-handedly able to close the deal. The team worked super hard on this, and I'm super proud of my leadership during this really challenging time that really steered the ship in the direction that means that we closed this engagement, or that the event was such a success, or that the class, got great results if you're a professor or a teacher. If you're a product manager, maybe you've led a team, right? So you really want to emphasize the specific hard work that you've directed in that particular project and that particular win. And then the other thing I want to emphasize is the final step of the FED acronym is don't. And that is, please do not use qualifying words. So what do I mean by that? Words like, oh, I just signed another client, or it's not even a big deal. Like, lots of people have signed new clients this week. No, we're not going to do that. That might be true, and that might be what you're thinking, but for the purposes of this conversation or this email or however you're communicating this to your bosses, you really need to own that. And there's no need for you to use qualifying words. If they want to qualify it in their head, they're welcome to do that, but it's not your job to use qualifying words for them, right? You are doing an amazing job and you are adding value and contributing. You do not need to use diminishing words to feel like you fit in, to feel like you're not bragging in these conversations. When you are in a performance review, when you're in a salary conversation, it is all about you, right? It's okay for it to be all about you. It's okay for you to own that and to be really proud of it. You're not at the pub with your friends where maybe you feel like you need to tone it down. Like, you're in a conversation about your career. It's not the time to use negative words. I want you to really just own that before you have that conversation, and just try and steer clear of those qualifying words. The other thing that you might need to use as a technique in these conversations is also remembering the power of silence. So this falls into the don't category as well. Don't use qualifying words, and don't feel like you need to overspeak and fill all of the silence, right? You're within your rights to say, I'm so proud that I've signed this new client. We've tripled the value. They're going to add 6 figures to the balance sheet this year. I've worked really hard on that. It took me 9 months to convert them, but I'm really hard that I persisted. And I'm really proud of that fact. And I'm excited to have a long and fruitful relationship with them. I'd love to discuss with you, what you think my compensation could look like moving forward, given my achievements so far. And then you can stop and say nothing. You don't have to say, oh, but I know the economy's tough, or, oh, I know we've had a bad year. It's okay. You can just stop. If they want to qualify, if they want to say no, that's up to them. But your job is to communicate your successes, right? So you're going to highlight those wins. You're going to put meat on the bone with the data and the metrics. And then you're going to stop. You're not going to use qualifying words. You're not going to fill the silence. You're just going to let them speak. Because when people speak, we learn so much from them, right? Even if they say no to our requests, even if they disappoint us, we learn from what they're telling us. For example, one of my clients recently asked for a pay raise. She was told no. And she asked questions. She was like, I'm really disappointed, but I'd like to understand more about your reasoning. And she was told, well, actually, in 3 days' time, 60% of the company is being fired. You are not being fired, but we've got a pay freeze on for 6 months. So while she was disappointed, she also understood the reasoning because she listened and because she asked those questions. So even if you were told no, there's still things that you can learn from that if we listen and actively ask for questions. For responses to our requests as well. Has anyone got any questions? We try and keep these short and sweet. They're supposed to be 5 minutes. I've gone a little bit over today. But if anyone has any questions, pop them in the chat for me. I am celebrating that it's Friday as well, almost. Sally, for you. How many, quick show of hands or emoji in the chat if you're on the masterclass yesterday? I can see there's quite a few familiar faces here. Hello, Sally. Yes. I saw you there, Patty. Good to see you. Cisco was there too. Cool. So if you have got any questions as well about the program, we've just opened enrollment to our final Career Level Up program for the year. It launches in 10 days' time. We have this ridiculous Black Friday pricing on at the moment, which is good. And that will go until the end of Black Friday. For everyone on the session last night, you'll know that you got this ridiculously special price that you have access to. But I will pop the link in the chat as well. I'll get Jersey on my team, actually. She'll put the link in the chat for joining that program as well. Here it is. I'll pop it in here for you all. Oh, no, that's not it. Hang on. Here we go. I'll pop the link in the chat for you all if anyone wants to join the program as well. And you're welcome to hit me up with any questions that you have about that. So it's like really focused for people who are wanting to make a shift, right? So people who are wanting to change jobs, people who are wanting to get promoted, and people who are actively seeking to earn more money at work in the next sort of 3 to 6 months. So that's something that's kind of on your radar in the relatively, close future. Maybe up to 12 months, but we would typically like to see results within 3 to 6 months max for people who go through the program. So it's a cohort course. So it's similar to this, except for we don't meet for 5 minutes. We meet for 1 hour twice a month for 4 months, which is awesome. And we have a curriculum that we go through, which takes you all the way through from like understanding yourself, your values and what you're really looking for in your career, and into the nuts and bolts and the meaty like negotiation tactics, the scripts. We have heaps of templates that you can use. We have the network mapper so that you can have folks in your corner who will share salary data with you and help advocate for you internally. Because that's the other thing, as you get, and you probably know this, as you get more senior in your career, it's less about what you know and more about who you know, right? Whether that's right or wrong or fair or not, it's kind of the way the world works. And so a big part of the course is like helping you to understand the rules of the game as you get more and more senior within your company. Or your business. So you've all done amazing to get here already. And I know that we've got really impressive folks in the Zoom room today. And if you want to jump up to that next step or 3 steps up or 5 steps up, it's like there's a different kind of secret sauce that it takes to get there. And I've experienced that myself back when I worked in the media world. And then when I moved to New York City and was a VP of business development for the Financial Times. And since then, we've been running programs for women around the world. And we've had several hundred people graduate from the Career Level Up course, which is the one that we're running as of I think it's like the 30th of November it starts. So it's in like a week and a half's time after Thanksgiving. So folks that graduate from that would typically expect to see minimum 3 to 4x of return on investment. But that's the minimum. We've had people that have, 5, 10, 30. We had one person who got a 41x return on the cost of the course, which is pretty awesome too. So, we don't want you to invest in the course if we don't think we can get you results, basically, because that's not really how I roll. There's heaps of free resources that you can use, but if you're wanting to get some really impressive results, it's an awesome community of folks. And then I personally coach that program. So I run the cohort and I would be with you for all of those live sessions, supporting you and the minutiae, right? Because it's different. It's different if you work at Google versus DocuSign versus PwC versus a startup versus not-for-profit. And that's what it really helps you navigate, are those like slight intricacies that are different from place to place. Because what we don't want is for you to put a foot wrong and that actually can damage you, right? Because, one of our mantras is you need to be asking for a salary increase every year, every single year. And you want to do it the right way, because if you do it the wrong way, it can damage your political capital, we don't want that, because the political capital that you have is more and more important the more senior you get within the business. So one of the things that you can do today, if you're not already using the PepTalkHer app, you can go through the process for day 4 of the challenge and track that in the app, right? So you can go through identifying the facts, emphasizing your hard work, and then making sure that you don't use qualifying words or fill in the silence. That's a really great place where you can kind of track all of those successes. It's totally free. It's on the App Store and the Google Play Store, and both of them have kindly featured us recently, which was very nice of them. So that's a free resource. So we do a lot of corporate work with UBS Bank, Salesforce, Microsoft, heaps of different companies, and that work funds the impact work that we do. So the app that's free and all of the free resources, like the challenge that we do for free, that's part of our social impact work. And then we do have the paid program. So the Career Level Up, which is the one that's just launched. And then, we also run a mastermind, which is for folks who are wanting to consistently grow their professional development and also their financial development as well. So we talk a lot about financial freedom, retiring early, and getting that consistency in terms of that professional development, because not all companies will invest in you on that, right? So we're a space that provides that for folks who are craving that, looking for that consistency, that momentum, and also the community. So super engaged Slack group as well, which is awesome, where we share job opportunities and resources. There was a great article from The Guardian that was shared today about 100 small things that you can do to change your life, which was really fun. So just thinking about those productivity hacks and those mindset shifts that you can, take control of, and make those small changes so that it leads to a big change, because we know that incrementally, that 1%, tiny change over time can lead to huge results, which is what I want for you in terms of pay, promotions, but also more than that. There's more to life than work, right? So we think a lot about the bigger picture, and that wellness piece as well, because if you don't have that, it's really hard to get paid more money or get promoted, right? If you're not feeling well in yourself physically and mentally too. So yeah, happy to take any questions. I know I've gone over time today, but there's just so much to talk about. So hit me up if you've got any questions. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, make sure you say hi. Let me pop my LinkedIn in the chat for you all too. I think I'm connected with a lot of you, but if I'm not, say hi on LinkedIn. And yeah, if there's any questions, I don't know, Patty or Sally, if you've got any questions, or Andrea, yeah, let me know. Cool. Well, I'll hang around. If there are any questions, feel free to hang around and pop them in the chat or jump off of mute. And if not, stay in touch, hit reply, and let me know via email or in the Facebook group your wins for today, so that we can help support you and cheer you on from a distance remotely. And if you want any more information about the course, let me know. We would love to see you in the program, which is launching soon. And regardless, I hope that you have found today's challenge useful to think about quantifying those results and really owning your success. So the question has come through as well about, is the course helpful if you're looking for a job? Yes, and it depends. Why don't you send me a DM with a little more information about how long you've been looking for a job, what sort of job you're looking for. It is helpful if you haven't been out of the workforce for a long time. If you've been looking for a job for more than 12 months, I have another friend who has a course that I recommend that's probably more suited. But if it's like a recent thing, sort of less than 6 months or so, then I think it's definitely applicable. If it's been longer than that you've been looking for a job, I would say maybe, but I might have another friend's course that I might recommend instead, in which case Emily from Cultivite, she's amazing. And she works specifically with job seekers at a certain phase in their job search phase. So we primarily work with folks who are in work, who are thinking about transitioning, or who maybe have recently been made redundant or lost their job or left their job and are wanting to make a change. So if it's recent, yes, I hope that's helpful. But if it's been a longer period of time, I have someone else who's amazing at that as well. Oh my gosh, this is a good question. Someone's saying, is the course good if you're in government? So if you're in government or in an organization where it's very strict from a band perspective, so, they might be like band 4, band 5, and you sit within that band. Yes, it is, because there's things that you can do to move within the band. And also we talk a lot, Sally, and this might be helpful for other folks too, about setting expectations for when you will be pushed into the next band. Because a lot of this is just like, some companies have structured performance reviews and stuff, and then other bosses are just like, oh, like it just never happens. So a lot of what we'll talk you through, and we'll give you a time frame too, it creates that structure even within those strict organizations. And I will say, we've had students who, yeah, they've got pay increases in government, in North America and in Asia and in Australia. And one person actually in London too. She worked for a council over there. And also the benefits can be really interesting. So tapping into those as well, extracting as much value. Yes, there's compensation, 100%. And there's other things too that you can tap into. For example, one of my students, when we mapped it out, she actually decided to take a lower paying job in government and stay there because they covered a cost of her university. So even if she'd gone somewhere else, she would have been net negative because she would have had to have paid for her master's or her MBA separately. So we would map that out with you. And also sometimes, I have had one or two of my students have left government because they've realized the possibility from the other people in the community of what other folks were earning, and they kind of fell off their chair and were like, what? And so they actually changed jobs, but they still worked and did more volunteering so that they could kind of hit that impact piece of their heart, that they wanted to sort of have that alignment. So they found that through volunteering, they actually changed their corporate job. Not everyone, the woman in the UK stayed in the council. But I'm happy to chat to you about that separately as well. Nice to see you, Samantha. Yeah, and that's a good question, because Siska, jump off of mute or let me know in the chat. I think you were in government when you did the course. Siska's actually graduated from the program. So you could chat to her as well. She's not a plant. She's just joined because she likes the consistency, but you're welcome to, I can connect you with other students who've graduated too, if you like. More than happy to connect folks with that information too.
Hi, Maggie. Yes, I can have a chat if anyone wants to talk about for government work.
Because you were in government at the time you did the course, right? From memory?
Yes. And I was a bit skeptical whether it could work, but yeah, it worked.
Cool. There you go. So feel free to DM Siska. I mean, we could go on for hours about the details of her situation and stuff like that. But yeah, so and I get the skepticism too, because it's like, really? Like, I've tried, it didn't work. Because probably most of you have tried, right? And maybe it did work, maybe it didn't work, or maybe you got a bit, but not enough. And so we talk a lot about like there's a little bit of inner work that we do that is part of it and the mindset, but a lot of it is strategy as well. Okay, this is a good question from Andrea saying, when the course is over, are we able to continue in the community? Yes. So you have I should say this more clearly because people keep asking me. Yeah, you have access to the Slack forever. So maybe I need to add that to our sales page and let people know. So you always have access to the Slack after you've been through the course. You always have access to the course. It's on like a online portal situation. So you can kind of like, jump on there. And like, so for example, she just got promoted to a big executive job. She just went back and rewatched the negotiation module, and she did the course like 2.5 years ago. So sometimes people will duck in and out, or they'll have a big presentation and they'll be a bit nervous. So they'll go back and watch the module on executive presence. Or they might just message me on Slack, or they'll tell everyone, and we'll give them sort of like round of applause in the Slacks to like let them know we're cheering them on. So, yes. Oh, this is an important question. My t-shirt, I know. How good is it? I don't remember where I got it. I think maybe it was Etsy. Yes. Yes, Siska wakes up very early. So send me, if anyone's got questions about the course. So Sally, actually, the discounted, because basically we mucked up the website and they changed, like someone on my team, I'm not going to name names, it doesn't really matter, but the price was supposed to be, it's $2,000, the course, but it is on sale for Black Friday. So it goes down to like $1,497. So that was supposed to be the price, but then accidentally the website said $997. And so everyone on the masterclass last night got the link to that. So I actually asked the team to email you all to honor that discount until midnight tonight, but I don't know if the email, did you get the email? If you didn't, let me know. Hang on, let me just quickly find it. I'm going to get in trouble, but that's fine. I wasn't supposed to, the team were like, can you stop putting out the old link? Anyway, let me find it. Oh, my Safari, maybe Jersey is in the, my browser has just like died, which is just an absolute treat at this time. So yes, let me, I can't believe this. Okay, anyway, what you can do is, you know what, just if that happens, just join the course and then we can just refund you. That's probably the easiest, the difference, which is basically $500. So the course comes down. There you go, there's the link. So you can join that link, and then we have the list of everyone who's joined. So if you join today, so you basically have like another 5 hours to join. If you join in that time, it will be the $997 price, which I don't think I think that was the price, maybe the early bird price when we first launched 5 years ago. That's why they got me in trouble for putting the wrong link up. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Jersey's all over it. So she's just put the correct link in. Oh no, Shelby did that. Sorry, it wasn't even Jersey. Okay, good. Lucky you're on the ball, because I'm on Chrome and I was on Safari yesterday and Safari's died. So there you go. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. If you want to use that link, you should, because it's cheaper. And I don't even know how to find that link anymore, because I think they've disabled it, because they got angry at me that I shared the wrong link. But anyway, yeah, so we would love to have you in the course. It's really fun. And if you don't like it, you can get a refund in 7 days. I hope that you will like it. I know that you'll like it, but if you don't, for whatever reason, you just let us know. And you get to meet cool people like Siska, you get to hang out with me. Just trying to think if we've got any other alumni on the call today. We had Meenakshi joined yesterday, which was nice, and Sarah. I don't think we have any other alumni today. I know how we have some people that have been using the app for a while, and that I've met at different conferences and stuff, but yeah. So anyway, I will let you all get back to your evenings because I've or your mornings, because I've run long, which I don't normally do, but this has been fun. So any other questions, just hit me up on email. Let me put my email in the chat for you all. PepTalkHer.com, very easy. Maggie at PepTalkHer.com. Say hi. Let me know if you've got questions, and then hopefully we'll see you in the course. And then also we'll be back same time tomorrow for the challenge finale, day 5. Yeah, so I can't wait. Tomorrow's a fun one, actually. So keep an eye out on your inbox for that, and we'll see you in the course soon. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Patty. Nice to see you. Let me know, Patty, if you want me to, let me know the specifics if you like, and I'm happy to to connect you or give you feedback if I think the course is a fit for you. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Bye.